the audacity of certain people
Okay.
and how they treat and act towards people. It,
Yeah.
it still blows my mind that there are people out here walking around thinking that they are above everyone else because of some type of title or some type of education or just whatever. Just the audacity of thinking that you could just go around speaking and treating people like they are less than a human to me still blows my mind. And you know, it's
I
something
mean,
that
I'm in the
that we see
military,
regularly.
so I,
I know, but
man,
well, you
this is
know,
how I live my life.
yeah, I know, but you know
Like,
that's part of that's part of the reason of we talked about briefly over the weekend was I'm not willing to play that game with people, and that's part of the reason why I had to step away amongst other things. But that was the main thing that I remember of all the great things in the military. One thing I
so many
remember
great things.
not wanting to do was playing that game with people,
Yeah.
and it's a shame because in my field I see it now, and I had to really remind myself on either Thursday or Wednesday, maybe both of those days, that you know I and the people around me are human beings, and I'm never going to let anyone treat or speak to them in a manner that makes them feel less than.
I'm still struggling with that because you and I had a talk about that where I felt the same way. And I felt like it's kind of like everybody's a safety officer. Everybody can say, hey, that's not right. But then I did it and I directly felt like it has equal to what I'm experiencing now. So it's like I'm at that crossroads where it's like, would I have done it this way? Would I have been that self-righteous? And I don't mean self-righteous in like a really nasty way, just not being, like he said, willing to play the game.
Yeah.
If this is wrong, I don't care where your position is, who you are. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's demoralizing, it's demoralizing.
Yep.
And I am going to say just that in the audience of whomever.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic that is. I mean,
What do you mean?
because
Go away.
I mean, if you're in a position to where you can, say those things, then it'll actually be heard. But a lot of the times, a lot of people who are like the subjects of that dehumanization usually don't have the power in their setting to speak up
Yeah.
for themselves or others. So I get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's like really realistic.
Well, I'm not.
Well,
I'm not.
that's-
I'm not asking everyone to take a stand. But what I am saying that for me, I know that I have to take a stand because it's a big part of like I said I owe a lot of things to serving in the military and things like that, but there was a big part of it where I just needed to walk away, and part of it was because I wasn't willing to play the game. I wasn't willing to be on anyone's nuts to get ahead or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people like to pretend that there is this merit system that if you do X you'll get a desired Z, and that's not always the case. It's not true.
learned
There
that
is a
lesson
lot of
early.
political handshaking and backroom conversations that happen that will that puts people ahead of someone else regardless of merits, regardless of everything. And a lot of service members, they joke because they're like, you could be a piece of shit human, you could just really be the scum of the earth, but as long as you pass your PT test, you're going to
Yeah.
always be you're always going to be looked at
High
as one of the
speed.
best starters, the
Or,
best the best soldiers ever.
high speed, low drag.
Yeah.
But that I feel like it took me until 30 years old to learn that lesson, and I feel like that's why I've been struggling so much, because that kind of lesson digs to the core of who you are as a person. So no matter how much you've evolved or grown, when you learn that lesson, or even when you learn where you stand in the world, or how you're perceived, or how much right you have, or what, if your words mean anything.
Yep.
It's humbling, to say the least, because like he said, you just assume 1 + 1 = 2, and then you realize in the world, like,
Yeah, your one is like I said, a lot of those backdoor conversations and a lot of those things, and I had to have that I had a flashback due to this conversation at work between again, someone who is in a position to do who feels that because he's in the position that he's in, he could say and do and treat people the way that he thinks is okay to treat people, and this is not how it works. It's not how it should work. Not that
Mostly
not
that's
that
how it
everything
works,
is
though.
fair, but
Mostly that's
you
how,
know,
for the most part, that's how it works.
people are humans, and it's not meant for anybody to take advantage and just say what you want to demoralize someone or a group of people just because of just because your title and rank.